Let's get it. Oh, okay. All right. Hold on. There we go. Yo, yo, yo. What up, friends? Ball and Buds is back. Yes, we are with a special Combat Sports Thursday edition. Usually you see us on Saturdays before the UFC pay-per-view, but with such a huge fight this weekend in boxing with Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence, we figured we had to give you some prime time Thursday night action so you could get a full analysis from Clubber D on all of the major boxing, UFC, and MMA. So that being said, we welcome in the star of the show, your UFC Combat Sports Insider for the Ball and Buds, Clubber D, the Combat G. How are we doing today, my brother?
You know, we're making it. It's Thursday. You know, usually back in the day, you was watching Thunder or something like that on Thursday. But, you know, you're here with us. You tuned in. You saw the post on IG for the people that trickled on over there. You saw the post on Facebook, people that trickled on over there. You saw the post on MySpace. It was in my top 8 in categories. You saw the post on Black Planet. If you didn't call me, kiss my ass. You saw the post on Mi Gente Siagabo. You saw the post on Christian Mingle. I'll be there on Fellowship on Tuesdays in Nevada. But anyways, we're here and we're live.
I can't. Did you say Mi Gente and they say Siagabo? Oh, Clubber D.
Light it up. Let's go.
Clubber D's Spanish skills are on point today, y'all. Not to mention, I was about to say, if you ever heard Clubber D roll his R's, he can roll his R's for a non-Hispanic man.
I'll do it later. You know, some of y'all's mothers already know, but I'll do that later. Just make sure my distilled water is in the CPAP machine next to the bed. All right, if I'm over, you got to go.
You're so stupid. You're so stupid. You're getting the Clubber D that you love. You also, what is that you are drinking on today, my friend?
Oh, well, sir. Now that you asked that, shameless plug, but Bro Brothers, okay, if I get it right. It's nice. Black-owned spirit, bourbon whiskey made in Kentucky. Not sponsored, but hopefully a sponsor. We'll take any and all sponsors of the show. Liquid, non-liquid, pause if necessary. It was close. That was close.
Very close. All sponsors welcome, and we definitely say support your Black-owned businesses and all your local businesses. Honestly, support all
even Puerto Rican ones. Hello,
even the Puerto Rican. Yeah. That being said, I have a shout out of my own. We got obviously to shout out Let's Talk Sports. If you're watching us on their channels, shout out DDH and the crew. Thank you for being a great partner with us. You may also be watching us on Sideline Sports Network. If so, shout out to JBL and the boys over there as well. And finally,
what up, Flo? What up, Canteen? What up?
Yeah, you know where I'm going.
Jake.
My boys at the bottom line, my family, the
guys right there.
Flo, Can, Elias, Jake. The Hot Take Jake is his new name. Check us out every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Bottom Line Sports. And then finally, I have to give this shout out to a very special Legion Jiu-Jitsu here in East Nashville. It is a jiu-jitsu training center for children and underrepresented people. So, hey, y'all, go ahead and support. The website is legionjj.com. My buddy Sean Patton, he's a veteran. He runs it, so please support them as well.
Nice. Definitely. I like that. I like what I hear.
Yes. That being said, let's get this party started. All right. So, first of all, before we get into what is being called the biggest fight since Mayweather-Pacquiao, this past weekend, or was it Tuesday?
Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning. Mm-hmm. If you were not awake, Clubber D hit me with the inside information and said, "Hey, Omar, make sure you're up at 7 a.m." Now, I didn't wake up at 7. I happened to wake up at 7. And I remembered Clubber D in my head saying, "Hey, turn it on." So I went to ESPN and watched an amazing fight between Nanya Inoue, if I'm saying that correctly. I apologize if not. Inoue versus Stephen Fulton. Let me tell you this, y'all, before Clubber D goes, let me set him up nicely with this. Inoue has moved up 4 different weight classes from 108 to 122 and has stayed undefeated, capturing undisputed championships at every single spot, including defeating an undefeated and very good boxer, and not just defeating, but from my eyes, from what I watched, it was domination over Stephen Fulton. My friend, what are your thoughts on this fight? What do you think about this Inoue kid? What is going on?
Well, Monster Inoue, he is basically the hype train of Lomachenko when Lomachenko first came in, but Lomachenko lost his first match. But Inoue, he's been undisputed. He's moving up. He moved up to super bantamweight at 122. He fought Cool Boy Steph. Now, people could say, why is this guy number 1? To why is he top 5? Is a bias. This man, I don't know if there's Keith Thurman said something about this. Like, is there a GOAT status in Japanese fighters? Is this, him, Sakuraba, some of the others, MMA fighters? But Inoue beat the brakes off Fulton. And Fulton is a great boxer. He has the lowest knockout percentage out of all the champions. He only had 8 knockouts. But the way he cut the ring off, killing him with the jab, it was a smaller man. He's moving up to super bantamweight, which is 122. I've been weighing 122 since 1984. That was back when I used to disco dance, but that's another story. But he cut the ring off. He used the jab. Everything Fulton used would not work against Inoue. I mean, this guy he broke him down. And Cool Boy Steph, that's his nickname. When he was walking to the ring, they fought in Japan. He looked kind of nervous. There's little controversy with the gloves, saying he's packing his gloves. But Japan, Vegas, New York, everyone has different rules of how you roll your gloves. They were insinuating that he was packing his gloves, making it like a cast. But if that's illegal in Japan, is what it is. I'm not saying he did that, but it is what it is if it's legal. And also, he's walking to the ring. You could tell Fulton was just off. I mean, I'm going to talk about this later with PBC fighters, but he hasn't fought in 13 months. Your top fighters need to fight. These guys cannot just sit on the sideline for a year, fight once a year. Mayweather did that later in his career because he had hand issues and he already made his money. But if you're up and coming or if you're in your prime fighter, you do not need to be fighting once a year. You should fight 2 to 3 to 4 times a year, maybe. I mean, look at Canelo. Canelo fights when he's healthy. He's about 3 to 4 times a year. So you need to be active if you're a top fighter. You get these guys on the shelf, see what happens. I mean, 5th round, he was using a wide stance, which others have used, trying to be the bigger guy in there, even though they're only 122 pounds. How's that sound? But the wide stance against Monster Inoue was not working. The 5th round, he looked decent. He caught him with a few good punches, but everything he worked. I mean, 7th round, I was like, okay, he's coming on a little bit. 8th round happened, woo, rockabye. I mean, he didn't put him to sleep, but when he knocked him down, he got up and then started jogging. I never seen someone get hit and run to the opposite direction. Like, he ran to the other side of the ring. I was like, what's he doing? And then, he put him away, but it's just, that was I did not expect him to get outclassed like that. It was embarrassing. And I don't say embarrassing because I like Cool Boy Steph. And I appreciate what he did by trying to be great. He's the man with the belts. He went over there to fight him. He's like, you know what? I want to fight the best. So I commend him doing that, but it's just the way he went out. Good Lord and Morty. Jesus.
No, I mean, but you're right, though, right? Like, he took the fight in Tokyo, in the other guy's, home country. Inoue really was, like you said, just dominating the fight, beating him down the whole time. I have never, and I've watched a lot of boxing, but I don't remember, other than maybe Mayweather and some lighter fighters like that have good jabs, that have a level change like he had. The way that he was just up and down with his jab was just, I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
He was straight to the point where all his punches were precise. Again, he's like, when Lomachenko, when he's on, it's kind of like that. He's putting on a clinic. Like, he's literally putting on a boxing clinic. And a lot of guys, a lot of people like boxing purists, they appreciate that. But sometimes that's not appealing to Sally at Wegmans buying sushi on Thursday night. They don't really care about that shit. They just want to see knockouts. But Margaret over at Wells Fargo taking money out on Monday nights, she might like that. Okay, you need to get the casuals to like all this stuff. But Inoue is a person, if you're not a boxing fan, you watch his fights and you will become a boxing fan because you'll appreciate the sport a lot more. They call it a sweet science for a reason. And this fight, the magnitude of this fight with two fighters in their prime fighting each other that are at this high level, we don't see that much nowadays. So the fact that this even happened, I was psyched. I was very excited. And I was going to go over there, which I can't fly right now because of the blood clots because of my prosthetic toe. I got the prosthetic toe and then the nail. It got gangrene. That's another story for on Tuesdays. We'll talk about that later. But I was, in a way, look out for him. They're trying to say he's at 122 now. He wants to get undisputed at 122, and he'll be the first if Bud Crawford doesn't do it this weekend. Give him a club banger later. But he'll be the first ever two-division undisputed champion. Undisputed means you have all the belts. Now, when you're saying like you haven't seen a fighter fight like this before, this fight reminded me of when Pacquiao fought Cotto, obviously the smaller guy, even though he weight drank Cotto by 3 pounds. Nobody wants to talk about that. But he attacked him. You attack him. Like Freddie Roach said, kind of like when Pacquiao fought a De La Hoya. He saw the IV mark in De La Hoya's arm when they went face-to-face in the middle of the ring. He was like, attack him because he's drained. So if you're a little guy, you got to fight a certain way against these bigger dudes. And again, we're saying bigger dudes. These guys are 122, and it's ridiculous. So that's.
But as you mentioned, though, and going back to who he reminds me a lot of, Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao did the same thing. He moved up from 108 and went beyond 130, and still his skills carried on. So do you think that he can continue to move up in weight or no?
He can. The problem with, I call kind of, I respect Pacquiao. Trust me, he's a great, all-time great, but I call a spade. Just like Mayweather when he fought like Canelo. He fought Canelo at 154, but said, no, we're fighting at 152 to drain him because, 154 was hard for Canelo to make. Pacquiao fought a lot of these championship fights under the weight limit. So at Cotto, they're supposed to fight at 147. He's draining him down to 144.
Got it.
2 to 3 pounds mean a lot for these fighters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'll talk about that later with Errol Spence. But when you say, hey, we're fighting at when Tank Davis fought Ryan Garcia at 135 or catchweight 136, they'll do things like, okay, we'll fight you at 136, but rehydration clause. You cannot weigh 10 pounds over the day of the fight. That's still messing you up. So they do this stuff to kind of, get these belts. But, is that something that can be legislated into boxing? Like they can't go over 5 pounds rehydration? Each belt has different rules. So IBF or WBA might be like, all right, because I remember when Danny Jacobs fought Triple G, Danny Jacobs couldn't balloon back up. He had to be within that 10 pounds. I think that was a WBA. I could be wrong. Belt they fought for. So certain belts and commissions have different rules that a fighter can use to their advantage. So
I love boxing, but I'm sick and tired of this club.
It's stupid. I don't like it. This UFC is like, all right, we're fighting at this. We're fighting at this is the weight class. I don't want to hear it. This is what it is. Or we're doing a catch weight. We care about rehydration, none of that stuff.
First of all, there's 4 major boxing organizations, and then they each have their own set of rules. Like, what are we supposed to do as fans to be able to follow this?
Well, it's really when you come to the rules, that's another long discussion because some people have different sets of rules. Like, let's talk about Devin Haney. So Teofimo Lopez is like, he just beat Josh Taylor for a WBO belt. Yep. Devin Haney, 135 is killing him to make. So Teofimo Lopez was like, all right, I'm gonna retire. Devin Haney's like, oh snap, I'm already undisputed at 135. I can move up and get that belt easy. Now Teofimo's like, no, I don't. I want to unretire.
All right,
pump fake. So they gave.
And it's so stupid because we know you're not retiring. You're 24 years old. Retiring.
Like, you just want more money. You're complaining about black fighters getting pushed in ESPN. You chose the bed you're in. Okay, you chose to leave ESPN for Triller, whatever the hell
greener
it was called.
Pastures.
And you lost to Cambosa, and now you come back to ESPN, and now you want to talk about be quiet, hush, you and your dad. But so Shakur Stevenson challenged, basically put in his mandatory against Devin Haney at 135 for his WBC belt. So Haney is trying to decide, should I take that fight or should I fight Regis Prograis for his WBC belt at 140, which he's probably going to do. And he asked for an extension until the 27th or something of this month. Now, where I said that boxing, these commissions are kind of weird, David Benavidez has challenged Canelo. He's the mandatory for that WBC at 168 for the last like 3 years. They're giving it Canelo extension to make his decision until all the way like 4 or 5 months from now. So how come one fighter gets this, another fighter gets that? So it's like, that's the shit I'm talking about. Pardon my French, but I'm not French. That's what we're talking about. Them not making the same rules for everybody. And I get it. Canelo is a moneymaker, but he's also kind of ducking.
That's where I was about to go with this. So really, it depends on who's your cash cow. Who is the one that's making you the most money, and how can we tailor those rules to him, or how can we avoid fighting really good fighters that would make the fans happy because we want to protect winning records? Can you go more into that and the PBC and the state of all that?
Shakur Stevenson said it best. I think Devin Haney agreed with him. Mayweather ruined it kind of for certain fighters. I would say black fighters, or maybe just fighters in the PBC side, minus Stevie Fulton. Nobody wants an L. Everybody wants to be undefeated. So sometimes fighters don't want to take that hard fight. PBC pays their fighters a lot, which is cool, but the opposition isn't that great, or they're fighting once a year. Nobody can survive fighting once a year. I don't care. There's rumors of PBC fighters doing DoorDash, Lyft, things of that nature because they're broke.
What?
Yes, and they're fighting only once a year. And look at Charlo. He's going on damn near 2 years since Big Charlo, the one at 160, has fought.
Jermell, yeah,
over 2 years, and then Jamal's been about a year with his hand.
And then they expect him to come back and fight Canelo and win. Like, what do you expect?
Exactly. So a lot of their fighters, it's managed poorly. I don't understand what they're doing. Danny Garcia, another one who sits around forever and then comes back to fight. Errol Spence, this man has legendary gaps within his fights. He still produces, but come on now. Like, I don't like this. I'm not a fan of a fighter fighting once a year. Okay, because you can lose your stuff. You know what I'm saying? You got to it's better to fight than train, because you're fighting, then you got rest time. Train, you're constantly putting stress on your body. So it's better to get the fight over with, relax, get back to training instead of just train, then fight. But some of these fighters like to party, and they're not really that very disciplined. So I know, not to say figures, but I know Steve Fulton, I think he got a little over $3 million, which is phenomenal for him. Like light fighters, lightweight fighters do not make money, but he went over there. That if you saw the fight, the Japanese crowd, that's why I love Pride MMA. They're so quiet and respectful.
Very respectful, very respectful, very quiet.
Fight, everything. Yep. It's great over there. And here you come over here, you got the Hooters crowd guys. Punch him in the elbow. Hit him in the gut.
Not the elbow.
Elbow. Kick him in the Achilles. What is that? What are you talking about? You hear that crap all the time, and it's annoying. But you can be. I'm not saying what you can and can't do at a fight, but it's just annoying sometimes when dudes just be out of the way. Just hit him in the dick. Hit him in the whoa. Hey, yo, pause.
Right. Pause. No, but you're right though, and that was actually. I mean, it was alluded to by the crew. Shout out to Tessator, TB, Bradley, and the crew, Mark Krieger. But they also alluded to that the crowd just lets you really feel the match and get into the match. Whereas an American crowd, they'd be yelling so much, like you're trying to concentrate in the fight. You can't even concentrate because there's so many people.
Let's not even talk about the corner stuff. I mean, when Tank Davis fought Barrios, Mayweather walks over to his corner and starts talking. Like, that's illegal. Like, you can't do that. What is going on?
What in the earth
is that? But just to end with Monster Inoue, they're trying to get him, build him up, him fighting Tank. That's about 17 pounds higher than what he is right now. He can still build up to get that, but that's the long run. Him versus Tank.
I mean, he's a monster. That's his nickname. But
I was going to save this for later, but he's a monster.
No, please.
He's a beast, but Tank might punch the race off his face. Tank might punch the race off his face. Tank, I'm telling you, Tank might put him to sleep. Only way Monster, if they ever fought, he better be able to take a punch and be able to you can outpoint Tank, but if you cannot take his punch and he figures you out.
And as much as Inoue is a monster, he is still a light body.
The Filipino Flash, Nino Donaire, fought him twice. The first fight went to decision, and Donaire broke his face. He literally broke his face, but Donaire lost. In the second fight, Donaire got knocked out bad. Like, I mean, he went to sleep. He was thinking he was back in the Philippines or something. He knocked him out, but it was bad, and he can get touched. But we'll talk about that later. That's wishful thinking, basically.
All right, so we'll cross that bridge when we get to that fight. That being said, we've talked about Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather. We've talked about Inoue and possibly now we have what could be the biggest fight in the last decade.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, with PBC and other organizations not willing to work together, fighters trying to protect their undefeated record, right? Protect the zero. Fighters trying to make more money or beat lesser fighters to be able to enhance their image. All of these things have caused us boxing fans to be very restless. We haven't got the fights we've wanted. We haven't got the fights we've deserved. This fight has been pushed off a few years, just like the Mayweather-Pacquiao was as well. But we are finally getting it, and they are still in their primes technically. That being said, this weekend, Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, undisputed lightweight championship, my friend. This is going to be amazing, and I am so excited to hear your thoughts.
I've been waiting for this fight for, I want to say, probably 5 years since
let's go.
There's video of when Bud Crawford called him out. They were backstage talking, and this is when I was a big Errol Spence fan. I still like Errol Spence, but when I hear a grown man say that I'd rather take the easy route and fight someone else, or I'd rather you fight on the other side of the street. When you're a top fighter and you make a built-in excuse of why you don't want to fight somebody, I lose respect. I'm done. I'm done with you. Like, I rock with you, but I am done. I don't. There's a lot of they got the bronze sexuals or whatever people that are. There's a lot of Earl sexuals and PBC stands that kind of ignore the fact that this man literally, when Sean Porter, when his dad stopped that fight against Bud Crawford, Earl left. He didn't want to get in the ring. He left. He left. Drunk as hell, left. Didn't want to get in the ring. When Ugas and other Earl fights, Crawford's there. He's front row. PBC don't show him. They don't want to show him. He wants to get in the ring. They won't let him. Wow. So he's been winning this fight. He's always winning this fight. He's never made excuses of why this fight shouldn't happen. But Earl, hey, I talked to Al or da. Stevie Fulton just went to Japan and fought somebody at top rank.
Make your own decisions.
Wilder fought Fury twice or 3 times, That's top rank. All these fighters have fought people from other, you got to force it. Earl's never been like that. So, I mean, they have, okay, so people get on Crawford's record. All right, they have some common opponents. You got Kell Brook where Crawford stopped. Earl, one crazy stat about Earl, this is a weird fact, that he has broken the eye of like 4 or 5 of his opponents. Either broken the orbital socket. Either the orbital socket or the eye socket. Chris Algieri, Danny Garcia, Ugas, where he had a sweet potato.
I remember Ugas. Yeah, I watched that.
The last one, it was bad. And I think who's the last person I wrote down?
You look like he had 2 bald heads.
Yeah.
Can I make that joke? Can I make that joke about Ugas? He looked like he had 2 bald heads.
I give it a partial chuckle.
Okay,
I get one of those. It wasn't bad.
The Charlie Villanueva looked like.
Now that's good. I'm not gonna say because I think he might have a disease, but that's not.
I think he has alopecia like Tamara did. Oh, wow, what a throwback that was. Do you remember? Do you remember, Clever D, when you were supposed to be stationed outside of my apartment, but I didn't call you in time, and there was a Wolverining of a couch that happened? Do you remember this?
Yeah, I remember. I've heard stories about that. It's neither here nor there. That's a deep cut. But
that memory came up on Facebook the other day. I almost died. Anyways, let's get back into this because basically, y'all, to make the inside joke proper for y'all, an ex of mine literally Wolverine my couch with a razor blade when I was letting her move out when we broke up. So we're not gonna. That was ridiculous. I don't even want to talk about that anymore. But anyways, that being said, what do we think about this? What do we think about who's going to win this fight? How do you see this fight playing out?
Well,
All that good stuff.
Make a long story short, we got two undefeated fighters. Crawford's 35. You got Spence 33. Crawford in his last 10 fights, there either been a ref stoppage, TKO, or KOs.
Wow.
Okay. He's not playing around. They do have a common opponent, or two common opponents, which Kell broke where Crawford stopped, and also Spence stopped where Spence got his first ever welterweight belt. But that was after. There's a caveat with that a little bit. He broke his orbital socket, but that was right after Kell Brook moved up to fight Triple G and got his orbital socket broken prior. Then he went down and went back to his regular weight and defended his belt against Errol Spence, who Errol Spence fought over in England. It was at a soccer stadium they fought. It was a crazy fight. It was awesome. I remember watching that. I was going to be out there, but I had some visa issues, you know what I'm saying? And I had to use a MasterCard, that didn't work. And then I had to use American Express, that didn't work. But anyways, Crawford, when he fought Kell Brook said he was in the best shape of his life, yada yada, and he got the beat down. So Crawford, he's the type of fighter, he's going to hit you with something you're not looking at. He's going to set traps and do things like that where you think you throw a punch and you move out the way, boom, you get hit, and he's going to have you equilibrium. And he has a killer instinct where he's going to attack once he sees you hurt. Spence body work, pause, is crazy. Like when he goes to the body, I put it out there. When he goes to the body, his body shots are next level. So
I don't have time for this.
Is he going to get? I wonder if Crawford's going to get walked down, or think he's going to be in the middle, or it's going to be a very tentative fight. Now I know we talked about weight cutting earlier.
Now that you say that though, Spence is subtly aggressive. Right, he's not like a Gervonta Davis. I'm gonna, or in a way, I'm gonna get on you and just stay on top of you. He's more of I'm gonna watch your moves. I'm going to counter punch. I'm going to think about what to do next. Yeah. I'm going to strategize, play this into my game. As you mentioned, his body shots take people to the ground. Didn't we see somebody give up on a body shot? I think I remember recently.
Tank Ryan Garcia did a knee. He did a Heisman.
Garcia did the Heisman.
He did. He went to the knee. Yeah.
But Crawford is the more strategic fighter, they say. Yeah. He's the more thinker.
He's a better counter puncher. He's way better counter puncher. He likes to set traps to where when I say set a trap, he might do a punch or do a move where you think you can block it one way. And he's one hand to go up with them. There you go. And it's melatonin awards. But the problem with this fight, see, Spence, the big thing about him is that he's a big drinker, he's a big partier. He moved his camp from Dallas all the way to Las Vegas, and it was kind of to get him away from his home because when he was there,
can you take him to Vegas, the party central of the world? Can we go to like Minot, North Dakota, or something?
He ain't around his friends. You know what I mean? Like in Dallas, they had him going to date. They saw him going to date parties when he's the first day of his camp. Not saying you can do what you got to do, but
so am I hearing you say that this could be a detriment to his?
He had to buy a nutritionist. He's had a nutritionist. I think the last two fights, but again, he's only fought. His last fight was about. I think I wrote that down. 15 months ago when he fought U.S. That's damn near a year and a half, and you got Crawford who fought in December. He likes to stay active. He wants to stay active.
Right.
Spence, excuse me. So they had to take him. He bought a nutritionist and nutritionist and all this other good stuff because he has trouble making weight. He was already in an interview earlier. People were saying he looks drained as all hell. He's already said if there is a rematch, it has to be at 154, not at 147 no more.
Wow.
But in the contract, the winner picks where the rematch will weight class. So it's already said, so he's not fighting. When he's going to fight Keith Thurman, if this fight didn't happen, he's supposed to fight Keith Thurman. That was going to be at 154. You know what I mean? So, and him and Charlos, they're good friends. So we're like, what's going on there?
So basically, whoever wins gets to pick their weight so that they have the advantage.
Pretty much. Spence cannot make, it's like Devin Haney. Devin Haney cannot make 135 no more. He's grown out of that division. He's 25 years old. Spence is 33. He should have already moved up years ago, but didn't. And he wants to move up to 154 now at age 33, which is cool. But this getting down to 147 is killing him. He cannot do this. So he already said it might not be man down, but Terence Crawford's going to be 39-1. So you're already saying you're not going to knock him out, but you're saying you're going to win. I don't. What fighters talk like this? You know, like who's going to say, "I'm going to beat you"?
Muhammad Ali ever say
I'm
something?
not going to knock you out, but I'm going to beat you. Like who?
Right.
No, you just whoop your ass. Like what are they doing? So I saw some Errol sexuals writing stuff like, "Oh, he's drained" or "he's this." There's already excuses already in. You know what I mean? But if you saw Terence Crawford, who's the illest, you know what, from Omaha, from Nebraska, I'm sorry,
from Nebraska,
he's been locked in. He has been locked in on his training and everything. He's waiting for this fight. He's, you know, he's like the junkyard dog. It's about to be a thump. He's been waiting for this fight to happen. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm going. Club Banger, you already know. Team Crawford, okay? Team Crawford all day. Ever since back 5 years ago when they said they were going to fight, I was Team Crawford. I'm Team Crawford now.
I love it. So you don't think that Crawford has been aged out yet? You think at 35 he's still young enough to pull the victory? You still think he's a great fighter? Do you think that Spence keeps it close? What is your outcome?
I think
because most people think this is a 50-50 fight. So
it is a 50-50 fight. I wouldn't be shocked if there are knockdowns on each side because Crawford has been hurt before. He's been knocked down before. Spence, you guys heard him, but that was after his mouthpiece went out. He's been hit a couple times by Sean Porter. You know,
all about that.
He's been rocked a couple times by like Sean Porter, a couple people, nothing too crazy. But none of those fighters are Bud Crawford. You know,
none of those fighters are Bud Crawford.
When Bud was fighting Sean, when
so
Spence
Sean Porter's a common opponent then?
Sean, yes, they both fought Sean Porter.
Okay.
Spence beat Sean Porter by split decision. Bud knocked him out in the 10th. Was dad stopped the fight?
Whoa!
So
hey now.
People say, "Oh, well, Sean didn't train." And shut up. I don't hear that stuff. He's a grown man. He's a fighter. He
right. You better be training all the damn time.
And the only reason Spence won, if you look at the fight, is because he knocked Sean down. And Sean will say he wasn't looking, got caught, flash knockdown, got back up. Take that knockdown away. Does Spence win that fight? Split decision. So Bud took him out. And Bud said, "Hey, I'm down. I'm down the scorecards. Okay, didn't take Davis' move. I'm down. Okay, boom, took him out." So with that being said, I just feel that Bud's always been locked in. He's always won this fight. He's a dog, you know what I'm saying? So I'm man, Crawford. Crawl forward.
Now, is it a knockout? Is it a decision? What are you going with, my friend?
I've been bad on my bangers. I ain't the after the fact king, but I've been bad on my predictions. But I'm thinking a decision.
Okay.
No split, unanimous. No split, unanimous. If it's split decision, I might faint, but the face might be in a split. But I will say it will be Terence Crawford, unanimous.
There you go.
7 rounds to. No, that's too close. I want to say 7 rounds. No, I think he's going to win. I'm giving him 8 rounds. 8 rounds, make it more even.
8 rounds to 4 for Terence Bud Crawford, which then makes that score, if I can do math really quickly, 116 to, I can't do math that quickly because I'm a little been drinking, 116 to 112. Thank you.
Well, we'll see, because one of the judges was in the Cambosa, I think it's Schultz, the guy's name, or I forgot the guy's name who fought this past weekend, and they gave it to Cambosa. He did not win that fight, so we don't know.
Whoa, what's going on with boxing judging?
I hate it. I hate boxing judging. It's terrible, but that's what scares me. The ref is dope as shit, but that judge scares me a lot.
So let me ask you a question, Clubberty. How do these judges get certified to be boxing and UFC judges?
Commission. Whatever
they have to go through training or something. Like, is there?
You got to be qualified. You got to have a certain amount of rounds in or whatever. But the commission picks it. It's out of the whatever state that's in. They pick the judges. So
because we've seen so many times that scores have been out of whack in not only boxing but UFC lately as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, as a child, I wanted to cry when Pernell Whitaker went against Chavez and he said a draw. I said, "What? No, he won that fight. Like, no,
he won that fight.
He won that fight. Like, how's that a draw? Like, so Yeah, judges. I mean, since even in the Olympics with Roy Jones when he got silver when he should have got gold, it's ridiculous, you know.
Ugh. All right, well, that, my friends, my family, fans, is Clubber D's prediction, his club banger for Crawford versus Spence, a Crawford unanimous decision. That being said, now we move on to the other huge event this weekend, UFC 291. And my friend, wow, they're fighting for the BMF belt.
Omar, hold on.
Please stop me.
I'm getting a call right now. Hold on.
Oh, who is that?
Oh, never mind. I thought I was getting a call. Sorry, it was
that
someone's mom.
Was that Conor McGregor? Conor McGregor, somebody's mom. Stupid.
Right. It's from your live the other day with certain people. I can say no names.
Speaking of, before we get into snacking and spitting sunflower seeds, may you please have you seen the Power Slap new season?
I told you earlier, and I used it earlier when I said someone got punted, the race punched off their face. But I saw one slap where the guy hit him, and then his body seized up. You know, I haven't seen somebody seize up since Tank Abbott hit somebody. Like, why would you sit there and get slapped? I hope they're getting paid good money for this.
Ever.
You know, I'm not gonna knock on anybody's profession. You know, do what you gotta do. If you gotta work, you gotta be on 14th Street in DC and make some money. Do what you gotta do. Okay. You know, hey, last time I went up there, y'all set Groupons. Quit playing with me. But anyways, if you gotta make money, But you stay there and get slapped? Well, you would stand there and get. I just don't. You know what? If you like it, I love it. How about that?
Lady in Red. That's where you find out.
In pink, but whatever.
14th Street.
Yeah, by Park in DC.
14th G&F. Oh, I know. I went there plenty of times in my younger youth. But yeah, we used to just go out there. You know what? That's just another story for another time. Yeah. There's too many bad things in that story. That
Artie's Gallery of Girls.
Artie's. No.
Too many deep cuts on this one. Too many deep cuts. You guys
too many deep cuts. All right. So UFC 291, the BMF belt is on the line. This is a ceremonial type belt, similar or akin to the FTW belt in AEW. Shout out Taz. I'm not hating. I love you. It is a ceremonial belt, though, not officially recognized. The BMF belt, which stands for, excuse my French fans, earmuffs for the kids real quick. It stands for the baddest motherfucker belt, and these are two of the baddest. These boys are going to throw some beaters, and you know what I mean by that, my friend. What are your thoughts?
This fight, you know, I call it the screw the other champions, especially Aljamain Sterling belt, because when Aljo's, I'm gonna get there in a second, but Aljo's last fight, they brought O'Malley in and said, "Hey, you're fighting him in August, all right?" And Aljo's like, "Why are you saying I'm already gonna fight when I literally just got done with a fight? Literally, I was in Nashville for that fight. I called it." So my problem with this is Aljo was like, "What if I'm injured? What if I want to take a vacation? What if this? What if that?" Dana White said, "Well, then we'll make an interim. We'll strip the belt." Islam has been
wait a second. For such an established champion like himself, though, for Sterling,
they don't like him. They don't like him.
Why? Do they have personal beef or something?
They go back and forth all the time.
Oh, wow.
Okay. But my thing is this. Volkanovski's already fought. Mm-hmm. Islam's been on the shelf because he's hurt. This belt should really be for Islam's belt, or Islam should be fighting one of these two. Mm-hmm. But he's fighting Oliveira later on in Abu Dhabi, I think in October. So how come he gets different treatment, but Aljo got the, you know what I'm saying? Like, but let's get to this fight. Yeah, this is a part two. The first one was a banger. Poirier, he's been out for a little while. Gaethje, if he said it, I think it's his last fight. I think if he against Fariz.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Okay. Oh wow.
If he lost, he would have retired just about. But
okay,
you know, he won, which is it was a banger of a fight. But the thing with Gaethje that's helped him out, his style has changed. He doesn't do the whole I'm going to murder your leg by kicking you all the time like he did the first fight. He was getting caught, but he's not as aggressive. He's more relaxed fighter. He's more trying to pick you apart instead of just go in, chop down your leg, punch you, come at you straight forward. He's kind of changed that style. Now, the first fight, if they fight in a pocket, Poirier has way better boxing. His boxing is a lot more crisper, a lot more easier. If it's a close fight in the pocket,
but Gaethje's the better wrestler, right? So
he is the better wrestler. But do you ever see him wrestle? He never wrestles. He's always
he
fighting.
likes to just throw hands. Yeah, he just likes to throw hands.
Exactly. So it's like he has the style, but he doesn't. He's like, nah, I'd rather punch and kick. So, he's half Mexican too, which is pretty hilarious. Yeah, he is. His dad's a ginger. His dad's a redhead. His mom's Mexican.
What?
Spanish fluently. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. But I think one of the differences in this fight is because they're fighting in altitude. I forget where they're fighting this UFC fight. I was gonna get a press pass to be there, but like I said,
it's in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I apologize about not getting you there. I had some last minute entanglements because your prosthetic toe, the blood clot, they said it would expand if you got on a flight, and it may blow up and put blood on the other passengers. So I just wasn't willing to do that.
Yeah, it's crazy because the prosthetic toe is prosthetic, don't have blood in it. But anyways,
wow, wow! How do I not know about science whatsoever? Why would it?
Okay, you're not Bill Nye. Don't worry about. You're not Bill Nye. Don't worry about that. You're okay. But
I need to go to sleep. I need sleep. What just happened?
They're fighting in Utah, but they're up in the mountains. They're up really high, so the altitude's the thing. Gaethje trains in altitude. Poirier's only fought once in altitude. That was against Eddie Alvarez, where we knocked out in the second round. So, will that be a factor? Will Poirier gas before Gaethje? With this fight, I don't think it's going to live up to the hype as far as it being like a barn burner, 5 rounds of just slobber knocking. Shout out to Jim Ross, but I'm going to say with the background, with Gaethje on a hot streak and he's been fighting well, I'm going with Dustin Poirier. Okay, I'm going to third round knockout Dustin Poirier. You heard it here.
Oh, okay.
Third round. You were so shocked.
I love Justin Gaethje and I love Dustin Poirier because I think that they are fighters that really represent what fighting is all about. Fighting all the time, going all out, training hard, preparing, studying, things like that. So I think it's going to be, one of the best fights we've seen in years since their last fight. That being said, I agree with you. I don't think that as much as I like Gaethje and I like his heart, I just think Poirier is just a superior fighter, and I just don't see.
He's a better fighter. He's smarter, better, more crisp on his boxing. He's a great counter striker when it comes to MMA. And also, we're forgetting he still has that third fight that he needs to do with Conor. UFC's all about money. You know what I mean? So remember the first fight, he put Conor to sleep. Second fight, Conor broke his leg.
Now let me jump in real quick though, because the Michael Chandler, Conor McGregor, UFC tough fighter is off now. Is that what I'm hearing?
Conor's he's never, last I checked, he hasn't registered with USADA, basically the drug testing. If you see the show, he's a lot bigger. He's bulked up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say he's on the juice, but he might be flirting with the juice. Okay. Not saying he's trend, but he might be trend if people know what I'm talking about. So there's a reason why he hasn't flirted and even drug tested. And even Chandler was like, I'll fight you at 170 if you want to cut down to 155, you're at 170. So it's Conor. It's really on Conor.
So are we saying that Conor is never going to fight in MMA again?
I think he will, just not this year.
Okay.
Maybe 2024, but not because you got to be in USADA for like 6 months before you can fight.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. They give like a probationary period.
I don't see him fighting no time this year. I don't see it.
Wow. Okay, cool. Well, we will move on to the next one then. Poirier Gaethje is going to be a banger. I definitely cannot wait to see it. I'm going to have one screen on Poirier Gaethje. I'm going to have the other screen on Crawford Spence, and I'm going to be good and set up. That being said, the co-main is Jan Blachowicz. I always suck with this name. Blachowicz versus AP, Alex Pereira. Now, AP was supposed to fight, I forget who it was. I apologize, someone else. and Blachowicz had to step in at the last minute to fill in. What are your thoughts on this fight, my friend?
Well, like I told you earlier, offline, AP's a world-renowned kickboxer.
Mm-hmm.
He's putting a lot of people to sleep. And when I say sleep, we're talking like shadow realm. Like you're in rigor mortis. You're thinking about what you had to eat when you were in third grade and you pissed your pants in school. This is like
In
all
the
the time.
metaverse.
Yeah, in the metaverse. Every time you blacked out and don't know what's happening, you're on autopilot. He knocks you in that state where you know what's going on. Like, oh, that's what I did. That's where he knocks you. Okay.
So he's like that one time, and I know we're going deep cut on this episode a lot, but shout out D Clubs the Ridge when he got knocked out by your pops and then got woken up again after he went through the refrigerator.
Oh yeah, got knocked out and went down to the ground and woke up. So that's what AP does. And he's a big dude. Like when he fought at 185, he was cutting hard to get to that weight class. I mean, they're fighting at 205 now, which is closer to what he regularly walks around at. It's still a cut for him. He's the taller, bigger dude at 6'4". Jan Blachowicz I think he's 6'2", around my height. He's a wrestler, but he has power. They have one person that they've both fought. And that's Izzy Adesanya, when Adesanya moved up to try to get the 205 belt. And lost because Blachowicz was like, I'm going to wrestle you. I'm going to take your pony ass down. So
Blachowicz put up a good performance against John Jones as well. Right? Was that John Jones?
I don't think they fought.
Who am I thinking about?
Maybe Dominic Reyes.
Maybe that was it. Yeah, I'm tripping. Never mind. Continue.
But Blachowicz, he's no slouch. He is no slouch. He has power and he can wrestle. If he was smart, perfect world, he would wrestle down AP, take him down, make him tired. And because AP doesn't really have a high-level jiu-jitsu or grappling. I think he just started doing jiu-jitsu, even though he's Brazilian. And Blachowicz, I believe he's a black belt or blue belt. So he's pretty up there. He's a blue belt, actually. No, sorry, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So he knows what he's doing on the ground, and he can take you down and wrestle. Now, but the thing is, you have to get there. You have to get this man on the ground. You can get an uppercut, saying he might knock the Polish vodka out of him. You never know what's going to happen. So who do I have winning this fight?
Club bangers. Club bangers.
Part of me wants to say Blachowicz, third round. Nick gets choked. But since this card is stacked with one-hitter quitters, two things can happen. Either a bunch of knockouts or a bunch of boring fights.
Oh.
This will not be one of them. This will be a second round TKO, technical. Maybe an RKO with the refs coming in and stopping.
Second round love TKO.
Is going to knock the snot out of Blachowicz.
No way.
I feel it. He's gonna go to sleep. He's gonna be sleeping, like eyes closed. He's gonna be one of those, and the feather comes up and down like in the cartoons. It's gonna be one of those knockouts. I feel it. I can, and it's probably gonna be this whole card, the main card and prelims. I'm gonna say 5 knockouts. 5 knockouts. Book it. If you're going to parlay, you can do how many knockouts going to happen within the prelims and the main card. I'm saying 5. And I'm after the Fat King, so if it doesn't work, don't worry about that.
I need y'all to follow up on Clubber D's bets. He will get you a winning streak here in sometime soon, hopefully. I really want someone to put a feather like over the mouth of people getting knocked out, just like let him blow up like the cartoons. Hilarious. So AP that beat Adesanya 3 times. You are saying third round knockout over the much bigger, and he looks like at least, Blachowicz. Is that correct?
Yes. I mean, like I said, this is a teeter-totter. It can either go a boring Pereira being wrestled and being tired out to the third round and lose, or him catching Blachowicz trying to take him down in like the second round.
Okay.
I'm leaning towards the knockout. Yes, he beat Israel Adesanya 3 times, but kickboxing is just stand up. You know what I'm saying? They fought twice in MMA, where the first fight, if you remember, Izzy was winning that fight, and then got caught at the end. He actually took him down. Izzy Adesanya wrestled and took Pereira down. So
So in this fight, how do you see Blachowicz attacking differently than Adesanya did to make a difference?
Well, because he's an actual good wrestler.
Okay.
Izzy's not a wrestler at all. He's just a stand-up guy. He trained takedowns for this fight. Not saying he doesn't do that as normal MMA training, but Blachowicz he can wrestle. So a lot of Pereira is going to be defending the takedown. That takes a lot of your energy defending a shoot. So that's what I'm saying by a third round. This guy, I mean, Pereira's like what? He's like 35 years old. He's not young, 36 or something like that. He's not young. Not spring chicken, so Blachowicz ain't a spring chicken either, but he's used to this. So this could go more towards Blachowicz the later in the rounds it goes, because Pereira, defending a takedown takes a lot of energy. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, I do it all the time, because some of y'all's moms and ex-wives be coming at me, and baby's mamas trying to take me down. Look at it. Slow down. I'm not taking you to Wegmans. If we go on a date, I'll take you to Taco Bell, get you 2 items. You better get a drink. I'm just saying.
All right. So lesson learned, ladies. If you come at this man, try and tackle him like Sauce Gardner, he's going to give you the sauce, but it might be some McDonald's BBQ. It could be some taco hot fire sauce. I don't know what he's going to give you, but he's going to give you the sauce.
Hey, if you're fancy, you might get Polynesian sauce from Chick-fil-A. But until then, hey, milk and cookies for rookies, coffee and donuts for grown-ups, all right? Just remember that.
I have a question, but I don't really have it for the show. It doesn't really pertain. I don't eat Chick-fil-A, so I don't know very much, but that just sounded weird. So
neither do I. It's overrated. I don't like Chick-fil-A.
Very overrated. Totally overrated. Worst chicken sandwich.
Be long for chicken that dry. Sorry.
Get out of here. Yes, I agree with you. That being said, all right, quick hitters. Let's do this. Let's run down the rest of the main fights on the UFC 291 card, because as you mentioned, it is a stacked and packed card. And I will just ask you for your club bangers for each fight. All right. So starting off, your boy, you love him, Wonder Boy Stephen Thompson versus Michael Pereira. What you got?
I think he's from Nashville too. Is he from Tennessee?
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to.
He might be. We'll have to look that up. But so Pereira actually looks like your cousin. Y'all look kind of alike with the man bun and everything. If you were 6'1", 6'2", you probably resemble him. But anyways, woo. This is a tough one, because Thompson has the karate style. Pereira is more capoeira, likes to dance, likes to do all that stuff. I'm going with Mikel Pereira. I'm going with him. I love Wonder Boy, but he's not going to win this fight. No.
Okay, so are you saying knockout, decision? What are we taking?
I'm going to say third round knockout.
Third round knockout. Let's
go.
Third round knockout. And he's actually from Simpsonville, South Carolina, wherever the hell that is. Shout out.
Kind of close. I thought it was Nashville. Yeah, no, Caleb Plant. I'm sorry. Caleb Plant's from Nashville.
Oh, you already know. We love Caleb Plant. We love us.
He's a beast.
So this card is so stacked, my friend, that you have Derek the Black Beast Lewis, who is a perennial heavyweight contender, fighting on the undercard, fighting on the prelim card. What is going on, my friend?
I mean, he's been knocked out the last like 3 or 4 times. I mean, I love Derek Lewis. He is what Kimbo Slice could have been if he got on MMA earlier. A knockout artist. I think he's going to win. I think he'll win this fight. I think he's
by the way, he's fighting my bad. Real quick, he's fighting Marcos de Rodrigo Lima. Just for the fans, my bad.
Yeah, Brazilian guy. Another guy who likes to thump. So he's not going to be taken down. He's not to worry about a takedown. Not going to worry about a lot of stuff. It's more just him going in there and banging. And I got Derek Lewis, and I'm doing this because I love watching him fight. Because I know how he attacks the sport, how he just wants to put on a crowd pleasing fight, and he's been out for a while since he lost to I think it was Paklovich, or I forgot the dude's name, the one who's basically right under Stipe as far as the heavyweight contender, who's a beast, who's a monster. But I got Derek Lewis. We'll say first round. Let's not go long. First round.
First
1 minute
round.
Left, 1 minute and 3 seconds left. Knockout.
Damn. Holy
Derek Lewis.
Cannolis. All right. Well, fans, you heard it here first. First round knockout for Derek the Black Beast Lewis. Hopefully that will propel him back into the main card, because I agree with Clubber D. I absolutely love watching Lewis fight. There we go. Next fight up, Michael Chiesa versus Holland. Kevin Holland.
I got Holland all day. Holland, this guy, he can fluctuate from 170, 185, talks a lot of stuff. His IG is hilarious. So if anybody besides Derek Lewis, follow Michael Holland. Kevin Holland. He's hilarious on this. I would say Holland, because Kiesa hasn't fought in a little while, and Holland stays active. He got humbled by Khamzat Chimaev, Khamzat Chimaev, but he's a good dude. Kevin Holland can thump. And this fight, I'm going to say second round submission, Holland. Second round submission.
Club bangers. He got them club bangers coming all day, baby. What you want? We bring you the best.
They coming all day. Ask your mom or ex-wife or baby mama.
You better. We bring you Clubber D to Combat G. You better know he brings the expertise and he brings that tease that he might put on your mother. Anyways, go ahead. That was not good at all. All right. Ferguson versus Green. Like, this is crazy. This card is so stacked that this fight, which Tony Ferguson and Bobby Green are two very good fighters, are fighting on the third fight of the undercard. Not even like in prime time, my friend. Give me your thoughts on this fight.
See, this is my issue with this fight. Tony Ferguson's another dog, but he doesn't have it no more. When Chandler kicked him, if you ever seen that meme with Chandler's foot.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh my God.
Excuse me. That was what makes that crazy is that happened, I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe that happened when I turned 40 and they had Canelo fighting the same day as another UFC card. And we were at a spot, we were watching both fights at the same time.
Yes.
They had boxing, like this weekend, boxing's on and UFC on. Okay. Yes. I believe that knockout happened during that time in May of last year. But since that fight, you had Ferguson fight Nate Diaz. He lost 17.6 years of his life with that kick. Because when he fought Nate Diaz, he looked like me getting up in the morning, getting out of bed. Because he looked slow, just sluggish. Nate Diaz made him look stupid in that fight. And he did not look like the same Tony Ferguson. Okay? That was years off of his life that he lost with that kick. This dude's been in wars. And Bobby King Green, I mean, when he comes, he's always going to come and scrap. His last round, I think he ended with an eye poke or something like that. But Green is going to knock him out probably in first round.
Ooh.
Maybe second, but Green is going to knock him out.
So you think Ferguson doesn't have it all anymore?
If you look at his last few fights, he's 39 years old. Okay. Bobby Green's 36. Ferguson's an old 39. 39, I mean, you're not spring chicken, that's when he just popped. But he's an old 39, long in the tooth 39. Okay. He's I'm still struggling with my hairline 39. He's I'm still going to the basketball court, but looking at others play, but not playing, but still commenting 39. Okay. He's I think I'm the man, still wearing first down and a triple fat goose jacket, talking to younger ladies 39. He's buying a Smirnoff Ice, thinking he's cool 39, wearing ski goggles at the bar 39. Okay. He's an old 39.
Not the ski goggles.
Yes. Like LL Cool J. Shout out to LeVar. He had one too. Yeah, I had them too. Okay. I used to rock them back in the day. All right.
Tremendous.
Some Air Force One's silver pair. But look, he's an old 39, not a young 39. Okay. An old 39. So Bobby Green is going to, it's just, hopefully he retires after this fight. I could be wrong. He could come out a different Tony Ferguson, but I highly doubt it. And Bobby Green's going to win this fight. Knockout.
No, I think you're completely right. I think that knockout literally took the life of MMA out of him. He was like, nope, never again. I
mean, Nate Diaz of all people was like, they were cheering, putting his hand up in the air, like, yeah, during the fight. Like he whooped his ass. And he looked awful against Nate Diaz. I don't know if it was maybe an injury, but he just did not look, didn't look like he wanted to be there. Looked terrible. So
well, yeah. I love the way that you helped me transition there, because you did not know what was next, but perfectly came up let's move into boxing now that we have completely covered the UFC card.
We're doing a boxing sandwich. You start with boxing, MMA, and then boxing at the end. I like that. I'm okay with that. I'll eat it.
Yes,
Pause. Whoa,
sir.
wait a minute.
Whoa! All right, enjoy UFC 291. We're out. No, I'm just, let's get into boxing. We definitely want to talk about the major fights first, but there are some upcoming fights because obviously boxing during the summer has their huge schedule. That being said, the next big fight after this weekend is Jake Paul versus, as the aforementioned, Nate Diaz. How do you see this playing out? Do you think Diaz is taking this seriously? Do you think Paul stands a chance?
Okay. So there's
He
some
said
sparring
okay.
footage of Diaz with Robert Garcia, who's a great boxer. His brother, slipping my mind. See, he doesn't drink too much. Mikey Garcia, there you go, who fought Errol Spence. Mikey Garcia was a great boxer. I wish he didn't have that issue at top rank, but took years off his career. But Robert Garcia has a lot of fighters, even trained Joshua for a fight. He's a great trainer. He had Nate Diaz, and he's training him, and I saw sparring, and I was like, ooh. Not as bad as Tyron Woodley, but it was. And Diaz, him and his brother used to train with Andre Ward, one of the top fighters, one of my favorite fighters of all time. People don't give him much respect, but he was fighting with Andre Ward. They were sparring years ago because they're from the same area up in Cali, or close to the same area. And I tell you what, Diaz doesn't have knockout power. He's not a knockout artist in MMA. He's a wear you down type fighter, like his brother. They do triathlons, things of that nature. Say what you want about Jake Paul, but he actually takes boxing serious, and he's a decent boxer against people that aren't good. A seasoned boxer, he's not good against.
Yeah, real quick, just to jump in, Jake, I did not mean to disrespect you. I know that at first, Clubber D and I thought that you were a joke.
I didn't. I didn't.
Oh,
I always said that he took it serious. Check the tapes. I said that he always took this serious.
Okay, all right.
He doesn't play
say
box.
I thought you were joking at first.
I've always
but
said
you
that.
have proven to us through time that not only do you care about boxing, not only do you care about training well, but you care about the fighters and their health and things like UFC. Possibly, it's not going to happen to Union, but even you thinking that is better for the fight game in general, as well as having people fight. Like when he had Serrano fight Katie Taylor. Shout out Amanda Serrano, Boricua. My friend, continue on to why Jake Paul is important for boxing, even though he's not a boxer, and then also give us your club banger on this fight.
So the reason why, I think it was, I don't know if it's a silver fight or the fight before we covered for Jake Paul, I said that, this guy, after his first ever boxing fight, he went to Big Bear, which is where De La Hoya all them trained up in altitude area, and he did a 3 or 4 month camp to train for his second fight, and he's since then he's taken boxing serious. He's whatever outside the ring, but he actually trains. Yeah. And boxing is not a sport you can just pick up and just be good at. No. You got to be. You cannot jump. Only Sergio Martinez, who I love to watch fight, who knocked out Paul Williams, which I thought Paul Williams was dead. Great fighter too. Love Paul Williams, but Sergio Martinez picked up boxing late in his life and was really a world champion, and he should be on everybody's top 15 just for that fact. He put on great fights, but you cannot pick up boxing at age 20 and be good, or 25. You have to do this when you're young. If you're a heavyweight, yes, Deontay Wilder, you got your anomalies. Yes, you can do that. But when you're a lighter weight person, you have to have years in the. Devin Haney was fighting illegally when he was 16 years old. I mean, this guy's. People like him, Shakur, Tank's been doing this when he was like 8 years old. So Jake, he's been taking it serious the last few years.
It's like tennis. It's like a young person's sport. Like you have to get into it young. You have to fight young because by the time you get into your 30s, you're pretty much old.
You don't know the tricks of the trade. You don't know the proper technique to do at that age. So you're absolutely right. Absolutely right about that. And with Jake Paul, I don't see Nate Diaz posing any type of problem for him.
Wow.
This is
Okay.
this is going to be another like Silva. We all like Silva, like yeah, Spider Silva, da da da. But if you ever, he had a couple boxing matches prior to that fight, and he was just an average boxer. He wasn't
Right.
special,
He was. Yeah,
you
you're right.
know.
Mhm.
So I don't see Diaz doing anything messing with Paul. I mean, he might do a couple antics, whatever, but I don't think Paul will knock him out per se. I think we'll just go to unanimous decision, Jake Paul. I don't. He might knock him down, but no, I don't. I'm sorry, I don't see
Wow.
it. I don't think he has the power to stop Jake Paul.
So
And I
you
don't think
have
Paul respects his power.
so you have Jake Paul, a
Yeah,
non-boxer, and we'll admit that he's a boxer kind of now, but a traditional non-boxer beating an MMA fighter who's had plenty of fights, plenty of punching going on against other people's faces. You're telling me that you believe that Jake Paul is going to beat Nate Diaz in this contest?
boxing and MMA are two different things. You can knock people out in
Mm,
MMA. That is not the same in boxing. The stance is
right.
different. The defense is different. That is totally different. Smaller gloves in MMA, bigger gloves in boxing. Do you know how to cut a ring off? Do you know how to do these things? Totally different aspect. I mean, you got to look at people don't know this. Freddie Roach used to corner George
Ooh,
St.
Freddie
Pierre
Roach. Yeah.
later in his fights. Okay,
Really? I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't
yes,
know
he
that.
did. He's a boxing
Mm.
legend cornering a UFC fighter. Okay, and he's even said recently that boxing technique, like MMA fighters, they're still far apart.
Right.
Okay, training somebody stand up in MMA is completely it's totally different. You know,
Wow.
gloves, the stance, cutting the ring, cutting the cage off, worrying about a takedown, not worrying about a takedown, what a feint, things like that. It's totally different. So Diaz, he has some knockdowns and got people out with, he's more submission guy, but he's not. I give heavyweights that move over to boxing a better chance than anybody in MMA try to switch over. You're mute. You're mute. You're mute. You're mute.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
With that, thank you. With that club banger of Paul beating Diaz, what could be next for him? Because he lost his last fight, obviously, and so now he's coming back. He's fighting Diaz, who he hopes is going to be a win, which will hopefully propel him back into fighting again. But he lost to Fury's younger brother, who's not, Tyson Fury by any means.
Yeah.
What's next for Jake Paul in this sport?
Well, I think KSI has been calling him out, dude who beat his
Oh
brother,
God.
and he has that Misfits boxing on the zone, which I don't watch that. Cool. The other guys, Salt Poppy, a couple other guys that are on there. They're big in the UK. I give them credit for making something in the UK cool, like boxing, because they appreciate that stuff over there. I don't like the organization because you had these IG and whatever people, social media folks trying to sell a fight. I get that, but you had one guy throw hot dogs on a Muslim guy, like pork.
Mm.
Like what is going on?
That's
Like you're
fucked
doing
up.
that much to sell a fight.
That's
So
not
I
it.
can't respect that. Like that's just
Cheap heat. Cheap heat.
stuff like that is just ridiculous. That's low hanging fruit like type stuff. You know what I mean? So
That's that low budget MJF cheap heat where he's like,
totally,
oh, y'all got fat women in Cincinnati, like like
yeah.
Rick Rude used to do. Like get that cheap heat real quick. Like, oh, y'all are so ugly and fat, but I'm gonna get booed anyways.
They
Uh,
used to call me Rick Rude back in the early 90s because I whoop your ass and steal your girl back in the day. And I used to put her face on my tights. But that's another story. We'll do the memoirs of Clubber D later on. But
Ravishing Clubber D.
that's right. They would need to do the hip thrust.
All right, before we get into that craziness,
Mm.
there are two heavyweight fights coming up before the next time we come on with our pay-per-view. And I actually got somebody knocking at the door, so I'm going to go check this. So I need you to talk for a second. But Anthony Joshua versus Dillian White and David Dubois versus Alexander Usyk. These are the two
That's right.
big heavyweight fights coming up, my friend. Take over for a couple minutes while I go check what's
I
going on.
got you. I got this. So right now, Omar had to get offline because one of y'all's mothers is going there knocking at the door, thinking it's at my house, but it's actually, it's one of y'all from Tennessee. But that's another story. Let's go. Dillian White against Joshua. So this fight is going on because they're trying to build Joshua against Wilder, which should happen hopefully in November or December timeframe in Saudi Arabia. So in the time being, Joshua he's with Derek James, who's training fighters like Frank Martin, the Charlos, Errol Spence. So and Ryan Garcia just got the Derek James. He's should be trainer of the year, but Anthony Joshua's working with him now. This could be his second fight with Derek James. So they're going to fight Dillian White over there in the UK, make some money, and then make a lot of money, hopefully, against Wilder later on. And then I think you talk about the Dubois and Alexander Usyk. This is basically a mandatory for one of his belts. Remember, Usyk has 3 of the major belts in the heavyweight, and Fury has a WBC belt. They keep pump faking on that fight to happen. So he has to fight. He has to fight one of his mandatories. So he's fighting Dubois. And, to me, Usyk's the best boxer at heavyweight. He's technical. He was undisputed at cruiserweight, moving up. So he's probably one of my favorite boxers to watch. He's on my top 5 for sure. I don't like to put heavyweights in my top 5 or top 10, but he'll be in the top 5-ish range. As I don't like to put heavyweights in there because heavyweights, you can get somebody that can knock you out. There's a difference between somebody that's like Mike Tyson, who can knock your block off. He'll like I said this earlier, he'll knock the race off your face, opposed to somebody like Tyson Fury, who could just wear you down. You got somebody like Wilder, again, who can knock the race off your face, and then you got somebody like Usyk, who can wear you down and everything. But O's back. Okay, hey, I told her I was probably one of the mothers I was talking to that thought I was down in Nashville. You know what I'm saying? But
she actually came asking for Clubber D, knocking on the door, and I was like, Clubber D does not live here full time, and she said, "Well, he gave me his number and said I'd be around anytime," and I said, "Yeah, that wasn't literal." So I don't know where she got that from.
See, I think it's the same one that I told her to say the old joke to. It was like, she wanted me to get something to eat that one day. We were in the bedroom. I said, "Hey, it's Ramadan. I ain't doing that." So I had left during the day. I never came back at night. So I think it was one of those things. I fooled her up with that one. I'm just saying. But anyways, I explained the Dillian White situation.
I have no time for you.
Nobody's gonna get it.
What's the Dillian White situation?
I told her, it's just they're looking for the big fight against Joshua. Joshua. They're looking for the big fight against Wilder later on in Saudi Arabia. They're trying to do that fight, but they got to fight in between. That's why Wilder and Andy Ruiz is supposed to fight. Also, they want to get the tune-up because they haven't fought in a little while.
And so, did you give your club bangers for those fights?
Oh, I haven't done that yet. I saved that. But it'll be since I give Joshua. Dillian White hasn't looked the same since
not at all. Yep. I agree.
Ever since he got caught with the steroids, he's been kind of fat and kind of since then. I got Joshua knocking his ass out probably 6th round. He's gone. He'll be this over there, so he has to go far to meet his tea time, get his tea and crumpets. You know what I'm saying?
So if he knocks him out in 6 rounds, he can still fight possibly Wilder in November in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Even if he goes all the way, that's the big money fight that they're angling for. Because Joshua, he's still a big dog in the UK, but he's not as big as he used to be. Okay,
no, this guy after he got beat by Ruiz, wasn't it?
He got Ruiz, Usyk twice.
Usyk too. Yeah, that's right.
His last performance against Franklin was subpar. So
how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, I mean he can still sell, but you got to remember these guys are selling out like 80, 90 seat arenas out there.
Wembley Stadium, SummerSlam.
You haven't seen that since Road Warriors going down there with the motorcycles, with the spikes. I was in Wembley one time when I was doing a strip show. I was part of the Magic Mike the Chitlin circuit. This was the urban edition. I was a headliner. You know what I'm saying? It was all brothers and Latinos. You know what I'm saying? But this is back in 1997.
I wish I could leave right now. I hate you so much. I wish I could leave. The Chitlin circuit.
We was throwing out chitlins, arroz con bollas, all that stuff. We was doing all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I rolled the R. Hope you heard that.
I heard it. All right. So let's say Joshua gets past White, fights Wilder in Saudi Arabia. We'll talk about that a little later. Usyk. What's your we didn't get your club banger in that one. What's your club banger?
Usyk. He'll break him down. It'll be, whew, if it goes to distance, he's winning 10 rounds. But
Okay.
yeah, I got him winning 10 rounds.
And then, so who does Usyk fight after that? Does he go back to
the card that they were trying to put together? So you got to understand, Saudi Arabia, they have a lot of money out there. That's why the Joshua Ruiz rematch was in Saudi Arabia. That's why the UFC likes to go to Abu Dhabi. There's a lot of money out there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my Ox and Akis out there. But the thing is, the card they were trying to put together was Usyk versus Fury for undisputed, and Wilder Joshua as the undercard, as the winner, getting the winner of that.
Wow.
That's the card they're trying to put together. And they have the money to do it. Messi turned down like $1 billion to go there. You know what I'm saying? I was going to go play soccer for $1.25, but they said no because they didn't. I can't fly right now. But they got all the money. They got to live golf over there. The PGA said, we got to merge with y'all because y'all got all that bread. Everybody going over there. You know what I'm saying? So, I was gonna do that, but it is what it is. They didn't want to let me use my clubs because they're from the Negro leagues, and they were like, nah, we can't use those. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, and they also offered Kylian Mbappe recently a $332 million transfer fee to his team, and then guaranteed him $776 million in salary, a $1 billion deal for one person.
I would go there in a heartbeat.
That's us next. Saudi Arabia.
Care.
Hey, PIF, come holler at us. Ball and Buds is for hire.
Please. If you guys need American correspondents, if you need people to come over, you want us to spread the word, I will do what you need me. If you trust me, I'm over there, okay? Trust me. I will go in a heartbeat.
Look,
I haven't been over there in a long time.
Look,
I've been to Dubai 3 times. I've been to Bahrain. I want to go back.
We are both world travelers. We are both veterans, but I will tell you one thing. Saudi, come on, baby. I'm taking the top dollar. I will move over there. I will move to Riyadh, and we can do all Ball and Bud shows from there in Saudi Arabia.
Right.
Give it over.
And you know what? Cricket is like the biggest sport over there. So I'm going to start covering cricket. God dang it.
Oh, we should do a cricket show.
Let's do it.
Black and Puerto Rican dude doing a cricket show. I don't know anything about cricket, but
we'll talk offline about that. I got a plan.
All right. Sounds good. All right. So speaking of, though, Wilder versus Andrew Ruiz, what's happening with this fight? Because, again, the business of boxing could be getting in the way of this, especially if he were to fight Joshua in November. Could he still fight Ruiz next year?
Let me tell you about the business of boxing. This is how weird it is. I'm going to go back to one of my favorite young fighters, Devin Haney. Okay, this man at age 23 bet on himself and said, you know what?
Sure did.
Excuse me for a second. Notice the haters coming up. He said, you know what?
Fuck the haters.
I'm going to take less money, but I want to be great, kind of like Steve Fulton tried to do.
Dare to be great.
I'm going to go to Australia. I'm going to fight for undisputed. Okay. In my contract, I'm doing a 3-fight deal. If I win, I have to go back to Australia to defend my belt.
Wow.
That's what Devin Haney did. And also his father, who's been in jail, out of jail, turned his life around, great father. They have a great father-son connection. They wouldn't let him come to Australia.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they wouldn't let him fly over.
2 days. 2 days before the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I remember that.
He did that, won both times, and then Top Rank ESPN said, you got one more time to fight us. You got to fight. You got to defend the undisputed again against Lomachenko, who we want you to fight. Okay. Mm-hmm. Had him fight Lomachenko, but guess what? They said, we're going to have you fight, but you're going to have to train during Ramadan. Okay. Haney's a Muslim. Him and his dad, they're Muslims. Okay. So he had to train during Ramadan. People are like, oh, he lost that. This boy was drained. Right.
It's basically like the rehydration clause. You're fucking somebody's weight up.
Yes. I mean, not everybody's a king that can just make Robinson look bad in the finals during Ramadan. When a dream was killing Dave Robinson back then.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah, that's a deep cut. That was all during Ramadan. People don't know that. So, okay, now with his fight, we're talking the boxing business. Shakur's like, I want to fight you, Haney. Haney's like, one, I'm moving up. But second, here's the contract, and you're getting 25%. Shakur's like, I want more money. whoa, young fella. Did you just see what I did?
Mm.
You have done nothing that I have done. What makes you think that you deserve more money when I had to grind to get where I'm at?
True.
Okay. Who do you think you are to think you should get more money? Do you know what I was making and what I made to be where I'm at?
Right.
So boxing fans and boxing people need to realize this stuff. All right. You can't just act like you're the man if you ain't paid your dues. Not saying Shakur hasn't, but he hasn't paid the same dues Haney's done. Haney used to do fights at age 16, 17 in Mexico as a pro. Okay. So there's levels to this stuff. There's levels. You know what I mean? There's levels.
Damn. No, that's crazy insight. I didn't even know any of that. So thank you for that.
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
Look at Clubber D dropping that boxing combat sports knowledge. That being said, let's move on to the next one. Fury versus Ngannou. I know we're a ways away. But what is this? What is this trash? Is this real or is this a money grab? And I already know the answer, but I want you to hit the fans.
Pasuda. I love it. I love Ngannou. I love the fact that he wants money for fighters. He wants more money. He took a stand. Yep, John Jones, everybody at the UFC is making fun of him. But there's certain fighters that are like, hey, Venom's paying us, but we have to wear the Rock shoes to the cage. Rock pays us nothing. You guys get all the money. All these sponsors that don't pay the UFC fighters. Okay, remember the shoes used to be. The gear used to be Reebok. Now it's Venom.
And then UFC isn't paying their fighters enough, so it's like a trickle down effect.
Exactly. The top fighters, yes, they'll get millions. Cool, but compared to boxing and even Bellator or bare knuckle fighting, they're not making the same amount of money. So I get Ngannou, Jake Paul. Let's make health insurance. These guys are independent contractors. They don't have health insurance. UFC makes hand over fist in money. The fighters should get more. That's my opinion. Now, Ngannou, though he's gonna get his snot box rocked, I commend him for this. He's going to change people, himself and his family members, other people in Cameroon and Africa. He's going to change their lives with this. He's already done a lot already. So, as a man, as a person on this earth, tip my hat off to this man. Okay, he's done a lot, and he's betting on himself to say, you know what, I want to fight the best, and I'm going to make more money. You know,
but you're saying he stands no chance, though, right?
Oh, he's getting his ass whooped. I mean, come on. If you see some of his fights, MMA, he's a monster. He's a killer in MMA. Those wide shots and that ain't gonna work. That does not work in boxing.
So this goes back to what you were just saying, right? This goes back to what you were just saying: cutting the ring off, being able to throw level-changing jabs, being able to hit your right hook from a left hook angle. Like, these are the things you were talking about, that boxing requires so much more of that sweet science that MMA does, that you don't believe that Ngannou can translate any of that to beat Fury.
Generating power off your feet, your hips, moving your hips in certain ways. MMA, their striking is just not the same. And these are bigger gloves. These aren't small gloves.
Wow.
You look at if a heavyweight boxer goes MMA, which has happened played a couple times, they can go the James Toney route where they get taken down by a Couture and choked out, or he can go the Ray Mercer against Tim Sylvia, where he knocks Tim Sylvia into rigor mortis, stiff. So you can't. It's just Ngannou is not going to look like Ngannou. Okay. I saw Mike Tyson say something like, "Oh, Conor McGregor was so great because he lasted 10 rounds with Floyd Mayweather and landed some good punches."
Floyd Mayweather let him last.
We were together. We were our fantasy football group. We were in Clearwater, okay, watching that fight. You and my brother you guys put the knee down and put the fist up during our national anthem. Okay. We were the only ones saying USA, USA when Mayweather came out. Everyone else acted like they were from Ireland. It's so funny about certain black athletes, there's no patriotism. But with other athletes, it's patriotism. Another conversation. But I remember that we yelled at the bar. It is what it is. We were the only ones going for Mayweather at that bar, and it was 95% Conor McGregor, and it was packed. I mean, it was packed. And when Mayweather won, people were like, "Oh my God, how could this happen?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Mayweather played with this man, and Conor came in about 20 pounds overweight. He ballooned up 20 pounds. So like we were like, this man, maybe Conor doesn't have a stand a chance. But Mayweather told everybody what he was going to do. I want to, box around a little bit and then take him to the deep waters and drown him.
Mayweather had a practice session with him. He had a sparring session. That's all.
Yeah, pretty much. It was just like it's like the same people that said, "Oh, Ronda Rousey could beat Mayweather." Are you kidding me?
Just like Ronda Rousey got knocked out by whatever her name was. Yeah.
Oh, doctor in the WWE. She woke up to the leg drop. She,
like,
where am I?
Stupid. Now she's getting out of there. Now did you see what happened recently? So they put her and Shayna Baszler finally in a damn feud. But what happened was at SummerSlam they had was it SummerSlam? No, SummerSlam's coming up. It was Money in the Bank. They had Shayna Baszler turn on Ronda Rousey in the middle of the match. No backstory, no nothing. But it was just that, I think Ronda Rousey wants to take a break. So now we have to change all of our plans to suit her and have, her best friend break up with her early when we didn't want it. Anyways, it was a whole convoluted shit.
That sounds terribly written.
And what it is
going on.
That's exactly right. You can leave that right there. I know exactly what you're talking about. That being said, thank you for that. So last question. Obviously, these are the mailbag questions, so I'm reading them from the mail. So, if there is your prediction, now the person in their email, they just wrote whoever the winner was, but you said that you think Crawford is going to win. Who is the top pound-for-pound fighter in the world if Crawford wins? Is it Crawford? Is it Inoue? I keep doing it.
Inoue. Just say Monster. Monster Inoue.
A Monster. Is it Fury? Is it – who is it?
If I were to say if Crawford wins, it's
Crawford. If Crawford wins, yeah. If Crawford wins, that's the whole scenario.
If Spence wins, it's Spence because he beat Crawford.
Wow! So you're not having any stock in the Monster right now as being your top.
No, I love. Trust me, I love the Monster.
Right. No, you love him, but he's not your top pound for pound.
No, because he's not. I would say the person. Steve Fulton's a great fighter, but Steve Fulton's not Spencer Crawford. Respectfully,
right?
I put it like that.
No, that makes sense.
He's not on it. He is top notch.
Yeah,
as far as like fighters in general, but he's not Spencer Crawford. I have them those two higher in my list of fighters. So yeah.
Okay. All right.
If I were to make a list, I would probably be top 3. Pound for me.
So top 3, not top 5. That's better than top 5. Okay. All right. And we will get Clubber D's top 5 next time for UFC 292, which will be the next time that you see us, folks. That being said, what else do you have, my friend? Any final notes? Any final stories you have for us?
We're working on the Ball and Buds Instagram page. We're gonna try to do some fun stuff with that. Shout out to what's his name at ABC, the person that connected that almost had us for the backstage patches for Nashville. What's the man's name?
Shout out Dave Lockett, Senior Director of Public Relations for UFC. Shout out Artie Dwarnick, maybe. I apologize, madam. ESPN head for UFC. And shout out Donald Soros. Not Soros. Wow. I don't know his last name. Donald, who works at ABC. I have not talked to him yet, but hopefully in the future. They are awesome connections. We appreciate y'all checking us out today.
That's right.
And we will be looking forward to doing our Ball and Buds live pay-per-view special live on location. So I've been in talks. I shouldn't say in talks. That's a wrong verbiage. I emailed UFC and ESPN, reached out to them so that you could have Clubber D and the Sports Professor on your TV live on location in Vegas or wherever the UFC goes.
It doesn't matter.
We believe that you deserve the best coverage. That being said, shout out Let's Talk Sports, DDH and the crew. Shout out Sideline Sports Network, JBL and the crew. Shout out Dave Lockett, the UFC, Artie Dwarnick, ESPN, everyone that has helped out Ball and Buds, all the fans that have watched today. We really thank you on the bottom line. as well channel. Check us out this Sunday and actually it will be Monday. Oh, by the way, we're live on TV, and I probably shouldn't do this to you right now, but I'm not able to go on Monday, the bottom line, because I have to teach. Clubber D, are you able to fill in for me on Monday?
On Monday
night, 8 p.m. your time.
I think I can do that.
All right.
Put me in for that.
Clubber D will be filling in for me. He will be on the bottom line this Monday, special time, because Flo and Can are both veterans in the Army, and they both have to work this weekend. I have to teach on Monday, so I am not able to be on. Clubber D will be joining Can, Flo, and possibly Hot Take Jake on the bottom line to review all the UFC, all the boxing. They're going to do a 49ers review since he's on there. Might as well. And other than that, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We thank y'all.
One last thing.
Please.
We might do a sneak attack show prior to our fantasy football draft, which will be in New Orleans on August the 12th, I believe.
Yes.
So we'll be down in New Orleans for the draft.
Yes.
I just booked my tickets. I'm flying down early. I'll be down there on Thursday.
What? Okay? Damn it.
I'll be down there on Thursday.
Damn. All right. I got to see if I can change my flight. All right.
I don't know where I'm staying, but I'll be down there on Thursday. But
hey, if you're in New Orleans, y'all, Ball and Buds, August, what is it? 10th to the 12th or 12th to the 6th?
3 days, 10th to the 13th. So it's 12th, August 12th. Yeah.
It is. We will be there. Come holla at us in New Orleans. Continue on. I apologize.
Shout out to Snail. Shout out to Big Brandon. Shout out to I will say Lamar, but he don't answer his phone. E. White. I'm not gonna say the full names, but you guys know who you guys are in our group.
Moving to Guerrera.
Moving to. Check my man Bajwa Malave. Okay, man's killing at Scandals, doing his stand-up comedy in the 757. Check my man out.
Check out Bajwa Malave, best comedian in Virginia Beach. You will not be disappointed. That being said, Clubber D, do you have anything else for our fans?
Hey, everybody, thank you all for tuning in. If you guys watch this now or watch this later, if you trickled in from IG, check us out for 5 minutes. If you check us out for 50 minutes, I appreciate everything. Stop being dusty. Hey,
stop being dusty. It is now July 27th. I'm being dusty. UFC 292. Your boy who you talked about earlier, Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley, will be on August the 19th. So we will see you all in 21 days exactly, 3 weeks exactly. We will be back for UFC 292. We'll be on a Saturday. We'll be back to our regular time on a Saturday at 6 p.m. I also want to again shout out Legion Jiu-Jitsu in East Nashville. Please take your kids, take your family. They are welcoming and they will give you a good workout. My friend, I saw you were showing that bottle again. If you wouldn't mind, please shouting them out as well.
Oh. There we go. And I got some, you know what? I'm going to be at Mega Fest later in August, which is Soul Mega, which is a black beer company in DC. I'll be there at their festival. So I'm going to take pictures and take some video from there. We'll be on our page on IG.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. And you will actually catch me as well. Even though I will not be live for Nashville Fight Night, I will still cover it and do a video for that with Clubber D. That being said, again, we will see you in 3 weeks on Saturday, August the 19th at 7 p.m. 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
That's out. Right.
Love y'all.
Where the sunflower seeds at?
Where this? I love you, Kane. I love you, Flo. Yeah.